This episode of Super Pulp Science is brought to you by Chasing Artwork Art Book number 5, just released at chasingartwork.com, where you can find it and other books bundled together.
Attention, citizens. It's time for Super Pulp Science.
This is Super Pulp Science, where we talk about how a genre gets made. My long-suffering co-host, Justin Curry, known the world over as Chasing Artwork, has returned.
I'm back.
You're back. And also, producer, mediocre.
It's catching on.
Only because we miss you, Dan. That's why. I actually don't like disparaging you every time we record, Lyndon. Gentlemen, we just did the impossible thing. Dear listener, it's really important that you not have a conflated viewpoint of how we get things done here around the studio. It is not a high-minded, flawless machine of entrepreneurial expertise. It is sometimes a bunch of dudes packing as much into a big truck for a drive out to another city as possible. That's basically what we did.
It is a runaway wagon. Out of control.
Businesses are held together with bubble gum,
Yeah.
scotch tape,
exactly.
and dreams and hopes.
And it's really important, if you're trying to build a dream together, that you pack it into small boxes of like 1 foot by 3 feet.
Modular box.
Yes, modular boxes. Really important element to making the whole thing work.
So we just finished loading up a truck that's going to Calgary with 4 people's setups, inventory, everything packed in there. And it was great for me this year because I sent my stuff ahead already on a pallet like 4 days ago. And so I had no skin in this loading the vehicle game.
But
And every year there's so much anxiety that comes with looking at the huge pile of stuff in the studio, looking at the vehicle, and playing it out in your mind. How is this going to fit into that?
you know how they talk about the mental math game of estimation, right? And how estimating is really important. And your teacher will probably told you in middle school, one day you're going to need to know how to estimate. Estimation, we live day in and day out on estimating whether it'll fit. Spatial relationship is an actual disproportionate amount of my mental space is taken up by calculating spatial relationship, volume, and weight. Wouldn't you say? Too much?
Too much.
Too much of our day. Yeah.
And I think like we all kind of agree that we probably needed maybe half, a third of what we actually bring. If you were to like at the end of the show,
That's right.
Here's what I
That's
sold.
what you sold.
Yeah, it would probably be like,
Mhm.
30 to 40% of what we brought. But you need that other 60, 90.
It's for the display.
Yeah, it's for the
Yeah.
display. It has to look like you have way too much stuff. There's something that's just inherently impressive about way too much inventory at a table versus just a couple things spattered
Like a
on the-
jungle bird's mating ritual.
Yes.
Yeah,
got
like
a peacock.
There's a lot going on, but it's a pretty simple thing that's going to happen at the end.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm trying to think of what the actual numbers are. So like Calgary, we may sell 3 full boxes of stock over the weekend, but we pack 8 boxes of stock.
Yeah.
Because no one's buying that last box if it's all you've got left. You need to look like you have lots of stock.
Yeah, it's counter to what people think. Is like if it looks like you're about to run out, that actually makes people less likely to support the project than more likely. And I don't understand totally. Many books have been written on the psychology of this. I still don't understand it.
Is it like not eating the last piece of pizza?
I guess, yeah. It's like, why was it left behind?
But if there's 7 pizzas open on the
Yeah,
the
you'll
table,
definitely have
You're
one.
great to have a slice. Yeah.
It's the same reason like Coca-Cola and Oreo build those like ziggurats of just their inventory at grocery stores, right?
Yeah. That and, a horrible misuse of the labor market. But
I knew this was going to go to capitalism.
Control your means of production.
Grocery stores, Loblaws,
Okay, listen.
price raises,
Listen.
eggs.
I want to talk about controlling your means of production. Dear listener, I'm going to ambush you, Justin, here. I'm holding in my hand book hand number 203 of 1,000 of the new Chasing art book collection number 5.
Hey, wait a second. I've got book 202.
Yeah,
How'd you get that number?
I have 203. I don't know.
Oh.
What's this?
What's
one?
yours?
Here's one.
201.
I guess that makes
Oh,
sense.
that's all off.
I guess that
the
makes
I
sense.
just
All off the
numbered them,
side.
you guys.
Dear listener, I want to describe what Justin calls an art book. When you think of an art book, you think of like a coffee table book, maybe of like, half a dozen, maybe 50 lavish illustrations, sort of big to look at. No, the Chasing Artwork art books have evolved over the years to be these, even I find them fascinating to look through. And I've been here for most of these projects. Explorations on how it's done. Like, in a way, Super Pulp Science is us talking through how stuff gets
Yes.
done. This is like a private journal almost about how each project ends up.
It's my island of misfit toys. It's all the projects that haven't happened yet, misfired and never happened, might happen someday. And if I put them in the book, it's letting people know. So now I have to do it. It's all those like half-finished sketches that turn into final pieces that don't just die on a hard drive somewhere. I get to actually put them in a book.
But this one, more than others, really, I have to say, just flipping through it the last couple minutes,
This is your first time looking at
yeah,
it.
really looking at it, I'm blown away by the variety of different projects that you undertook. Now, would this just be in the calendar year since the last one?
So I actually have a page about this because I was thinking about this too. So art book number 1 was published in 2013. And that was kind of everything digital art I'd done up until that point. And it was an experiment. I didn't know if art books were going to be a thing that I wanted to do. I didn't know if people were going to want them. I was just kind of experimenting. And so because it was like a bit of a risk, I did a short run. I only did 500. And I thought, I'll hand number them. I'll make them a bit special. I'll sketch in them. And like over the next year or two, they sold really well. People wanted to know, like, see that behind the scenes sketches and the tutorials and how it's made and the progress shots. Like it like resonated with the fans. So I immediately started building art book number 2, which came out like 2 years later, and then 3 came out 3 years after that, and then COVID hit, so there's a little bit more of a gap between 3 and 4.
Oh, that explains the 3-4 gap. Sure, yeah.
And then so every 3-4 years, I have enough work, enough new books, enough sketches to compile a completely new art book. So there are a handful of shared things between art book like 5 and 4. But it's just usually me referencing like collections of pieces. Like, look at all the Gundams I've done. And then I have like all the Gundams together. But it's 90% brand new art that doesn't appear in any of the other art books.
When did Art Book 4 come out?
Art book 4 came out in 2021.
Almost. I was trying to, because there was 2 years to book 2, and then there's 3 years to book 3, and then there's 4 years to book 4. I was trying to say it was 5 years to book 5, but
Always trying to put people in little boxes, London.
just trying to find the patterns of life, Gregory.
Yes. Okay, well, here's a pattern I'm seeing right away in this book, looking through it. There's so many more hand-drawn elements in this one than I think is typical of you. I mean, there's a lot more pages in this book than other ones. But is it because you just have been archiving more of your traditional process, or because it's become more important to you in
Actually,
your work?
I think I blame that on the iPhone camera getting better. Whereas before, in earlier days, you'd have to scan in sketchbooks, and that
wasn't that the worst?
garbage. I hated it so much. But now,
Everyone who knows, by the way, if you lived through Photoshop stitching together scanner images,
lining it up, and then something's like slightly off
oh,
perspective, so now you have to redo it.
I just want you to know that those of you who have been through it with us, we all bear those scars together. And we'll never be the same, and no one but those that went through it will understand.
The symbols are a language that can help us understand our past. As the saying goes, a picture says 1,000 words, but which words?
But dear listener, what Gregory's talking about is there's these pages, these entire spreads in the book that are just a whole bunch of sketches, and they're quite small. And how I get those is I just flip through my sketchbooks from the last couple of years, And in a well-lit room with my iPhone, I'm just taking pictures of page after page after page. I bring those pictures into Photoshop, and I can isolate just the color of the black pen and take out the texture of the paper, and then it's kind of an isolated drawing.
And
since
that's how
they're
you're gathering them all onto the
yeah,
same plate.
and you can't tell.
No, not at all. It's
Not the
amazing.
best like if you were to blow it up, wouldn't look great. But because I'm trying to fit like 60 different little illustrations on one page versus
But even when the old man puts his glasses on to look really close at your DPI, these are amazing.
well, and some of these are from the sketchbook, and some of these are my Photoshop sketches that I'm just using a bit of a textured brush, and they're all kind of like grouped together, so it's kind of hard to tell what's Photoshop and what's sketched traditionally.
Okay, the other thing that I really like about this, I'm someone who has always admired your ability to come up with compositional elements. And there's a really great, this is my favorite one. You often do it in your art books, but this maybe is my favorite one. You have from sketch to layout, like negative space, to color composition, to the flares, to the close-ups, on how the composition comes together from idea to completion. And then it looks like the parts you like best, you've zoomed in on for
Yep.
other pieces too. So there's like a little flip book story of how the sausage gets made. Like it's really quite good job, sir.
Thank you. This has been a great kind of background project for like probably the last year. I've been chipping away at this without really seriously working on it up until the last, I want to say like 2-3 months. I've really started like hunkering down and getting it ready. But what I love about the art books is like art book number 6, the file is already created and I've already started plopping things in there, and I finished a new painting. So like as a final step, that painting goes into art book 6. I have a little write-up in there, and then, close that file down and move on. And that's what's going to happen like over the next couple of years, is just periodically I'm going to open up the file, plunk in a couple pages, and then move on without really fine-tuning anything until 2028.
Wait a minute. I just found
You found the Super Pulp
your
Science page.
entry about Super Pulp Science. Dear listener, I don't know if we should all be offended or not. He has listed here, it says Super Pulp Science Podcast. I am a fairly willing participant in a weekly podcast with GMB Kamicha.
Thought you'd enjoy that.
Fairly willing.
Yeah.
Well, fairly
You do
willing.
start the podcast with my long-suffering co-host.
I suppose that's
So it's in the same
This is
same thing. But yeah, I've said it before. I'm gonna say it again to like any kind of print artist or artist kind of in around the same industry as me. If you've been on the fence about making an art book, I couldn't recommend it more. It's great to just have to really dive into your own process and put it into words and in a way that others can really dive into it as well. Because I think so many of us never really think about a process too much. It's a lot of it's hidden, a lot of it's never, sees the light of day. And it's just kind of almost like a little therapeutic to go through a couple years of projects and just kind of splay out their entire start to finish process. And I think it makes for like a fun book too. Like not everybody wants more posters on their wall.
It makes me want to do another art book. Linda gives me a hard time because I don't promote my art book enough.
Does the listener even know you have an art book?
Dear listener, I also have an art book, but this is from pre-pandemic. This is during the SM Biko days.
Well, what do you say? Books never age
Yeah, it's true.
in convention land.
It's true. It's
Imagine if you just had a finished book sitting on your shelf, Justin, that you never talked about or brought anywhere or tried
not
to
that
show
I
anyone.
never do. I usually bring it to the Winnipeg show, and that's
I don't believe that.
where it lives.
I've never once
hard
seen it at the Winnipeg show.
That's well,
Dear listener, next time you're at the Winnipeg show, your duty is to approach GMB Kamichuk, Jim Kamichuk,
Jim
call him,
Kamichuk.
and ask him to purchase his art book. And if he cannot hand you one
if you're
on
at
the spot,
Winnipeg Comic Con,
Yeah.
I'll be able to hand you one on the spot. It's done.
send us your
I'm
messages.
pleasantly surprised by it, but I don't promo it enough. But dear listener, if you only have so much money in your pocket, buy Justin's. His is better. This one has so much more stuff in it. That is like actually the process of
It's
making.
let's talk about like the physical book for a second.
Yeah.
It's 136 pages on I forget the text weight on the interior. It's a bit thicker than
Oh,
usual.
it's nice.
And then the cover, I'm
Listen
addicted.
to that, dear listener. Listen to that. That is the paper.
Friesens does this amazing book cover that we've all become addicted to.
Sponsored by Friesens.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, not. We are not. We just think they're great.
but that non-scuff laminate that just has like a velvety feel. And ever since I picked up a book with this kind of texture on the cover, that's all I wanted my books to be.
Okay, is this a spot varnish or a foil on it?
That is a foil, but because it's non-scuff, it's not as vibrant
Yeah, it's
as if it was just flat. So it's more of a subtle foil.
Yeah, it's not as foily as your last one was.
Yeah. And then because I wanted to, for no real reason other than I wanted to, I did 250 slip cases. So that's kind of like if you think
Yeah, that's what
VHS cover.
foil magic.
Yeah,
thing,
think like a paper VHS cover slips onto the book. There's only, so there's 1,000 books total printed.
Wait, you're too young for that. Think a DVD, an old Blu-ray,
Yeah.
premiere edition slip case over top.
Back
That's what.
before the streaming days.
Yeah.
No, other way, Lyndon. So they're a bit tricky to put on and put off. I've had some practice. They are not even anywhere in the realm of cost efficient. Like this was totally just a frugal, like, I want to do this. And it does not make sense to do it cost wise at this low of
So like
quantity.
you wouldn't tell others to do this.
No, but I want to do more slip cases and get into stuff like that. So I kind of wanted to test the waters, try a project out with it. So I did it, and I think it adds something. It looks like a different book. So when I have it on display, I'll have like
Okay.
the uncovered version and the
Now
covered
this is
version.
legitimate. You can put this when you're doing your taxes. You
Yeah.
list the fees associated with this because they're not cost effective as research and development is what it
Yeah.
legitimately is.
Yeah.
Right? You were testing a new print process, a new binding process, and you did it for what, 250 of them? So,
Yep.
Right?
Actually, they when book printers are making something, they warm up the machine, they get it going, and there's usually at least anywhere from 5 to 10% overprint. So there's 261 slip cases, and so I was kind of debating in my head too, like how do I want to sell like the slip case as its own version, separate from like the normal version? Do I want to do something special with that? And so what I ended up kind of deciding in my head is just the first 260 books
Come with the
sold
case.
come with the slip case. And I also did my newest painting since the book came out.
And not at an increased cost.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So,
So
it's
it's just
if you're an early adopter, early
Yeah.
supporter, you get something great.
exactly.
Yeah. If you're late to the party, well, you get the leftovers.
Because it's fun and neat, but I don't know if you would really want to spend more money to get that version than the other. And again, I've never had a slipcase before. I don't know what people are how they're going to react to it. Calgary is in a couple of days here, and I will
Even
know.
your sketch on the back
know.
of the
I thought about that too. The slipcase has foil along the front. It doesn't have anything on the back.
except a nice 2C paper.
Why
that's
did you
really
decide
good
not
for
to do a
sketch.
color slipcase? This is to the listeners, this is a white slipcase with blue foil all over.
Classy.
So that's to keep it as like it was not cost efficient,
Right.
but it would have been even
Worse
less
color.
cost efficient if they were
Ah.
to do any actual printing on it.
Okay.
So because it is just a one color
Just the
slipcase
foil-
with the
foil
foil
print,
stamp,
the foil hit.
yeah,
'Kay.
that was the most cost efficient, least cost efficient option that we found.
The most
And-
cost efficient of the non-cost efficient
I'm
decisions.
experimenting. I'm trying new things with my books.
That's right.
Research and
that's what-
development.
Someone has to do it.
Yeah.
You're chasing artwork trailblazer.
Had
Yeah.
somebody else done this before me, I would have been jealous and angry that I didn't try it first.
That's right. And us printing on the color machine for Skydevil, same kind of R&D. We're like, we're not sure actually if it'll turn out. We're going to risk it. But the other thing I'll say for somebody wondering where the costs are and why are we so quick to say, yay, Friesens is good, but then say, oh, this was really expensive. Anytime a human has to take something off the production line and actually glue, fold, or handle it, the cost goes up
Yeah.
because there's a human involved, yes, and that costs money. So that's why we're not disparaging the cost associated with it, but it is not.
Well, and it's not like
always-
they promised me it was going to be cheap and
That's
then
right.
I was shocked. No, I knew going into
There's a
this,
quite-
this was like a frivolous like choice by me, but I had it in my head that I wanted to try it. I have this fantasy in my head of my next big graphic novel, Spark Chasers. I want a slipcase. I want to do different things with that slipcase. So I wanted, and that's a much bigger book, a much more expensive print run. So I wanted to try it with this relatively small
Right.
run to see what I was getting into and see what, consumers on the like at Comic Cons when they're buying it, how they react to it. If anybody gives two shits that it has a slipcase.
Her smile is in the lower spatial frequencies. The horizon is significantly lower on the left than it is on the right.
Why?
Spark Chasers is going to be a book for the 1%ers.
That's going to be a big.
When it's a
piece of-
giant book with a slipcase and a special edition.
Yeah, that one I'm excited. We're talking to the printers already about different options I'm looking into and different things I want to do.
Jeff Bezos is coming for those.
No, the 7%ers. The thing I wanted to say about that kind of printing is the reason you do it originally and the reason you keep doing it sometimes are separate. So I love books that have a French flap or a gatefold flap,
You do.
right?
So that's
absolutely adore.
the cover has like a folded over
That's right.
flap that you can like knit. Now the cover is like almost like 30% wider when you fold that out.
That's right. It's like a little flip. And I just like it because it gives you a place to put a pull quote or the back matter or any of that kind of stuff. But
It
then
makes it feel thicker too.
here's the real
Well, stacks better too.
it's these are the reasons why I keep doing it. I liked it aesthetically, and so I was just like your slipcase. I'm doing this or I'm going home,
Yeah.
right? This is how these are. It's my book, my way. But then the added bonus was the book is more robust when you pack it in boxes, when you ship it, when people handle it.
Yeah, it feels way more quality. It feels more plush.
It feels more plus, but it actually is physically more able to be browsed, to be packed, to be shipped, and so there's way less wear and tear on the actual
Yeah.
physical object when you're traveling around. And so that became the reason to continue with it, is that it's not just my aesthetic preference. It became solidified in my actual printing preference because the book will live and last longer as an object. And the real goal, dear listener, for me, I can't speak to anyone else who makes books, but I love it when I find copies of my books at used bookstores or in little libraries or somewhere where there's another life coming.
I saw your book on Facebook Marketplace last week.
Amazing. Okay, so for example, and the idea that it is going to continue through other hands. All the books that I loved the most when I was younger, I got handed to me.
Yeah.
Right? They came for no money to a person who liked reading books.
My favorite stack of books was a bunch of Silver Age comics with the covers torn off from a drugstore.
Exactly.
Right?
Right? And so you want the idea that the story you were compelled to write is going to just drift along.
Stand the test of time.
Yeah. And even if it doesn't, like, for example, we'll leave his name out to protect the innocent, but I have a fellow community member where I live where we each have little libraries in front of our house.
Take one, leave one.
Yeah.
Little library
And
boxes.
we admitted to each other that we curate them
Mm.
in so much as books we don't think deserve to continue on their way. We sometimes remove from the library and ensure are recycled responsibly rather than put into the general reading. It's like catch and release river is what I'm thinking of, right? And sometimes you take the fish out and it's got a weird eye and it's got like a pencil in its gills and you're like, I shouldn't put it back. It's living, but I shouldn't put it back. So we curate it out. And so when a really great book like from the 70s or the 50s or sometimes even the 40s shows up in my little library and it's still intact, but is obviously well read,
Mhm.
I immediately start looking at the binding. I check the glue edge on the like all the stuff that we've come to appreciate about Friesens as a printer and about book production in general. I look and see, frankly, how much better it has always been before this last few decades, so books are amazing. So your art book, it's a long way around to say, I want to ask you a couple of things now that I flipped through it.
Did you notice his author photo?
I didn't look at the author photo.
Should look at the author photo.
I'm
Let's go
looking right at his face.
3 pages in.
Oh, I'm gonna ruin it. I just put it back in its slipcase, and I'm afraid now.
Yeah.
Now that I know how rare they
are a little.
They're a little
Oh,
tight.
yeah, they're-
fun,
They're a little
but,
tight.
I'll get
It's again.
Okay, 3
I'm
pages.
learning.
3 pages.
Right.
Oh, Amazing. Hey, that was from our picture day.
Yeah.
It was from Studio Picture Day.
Yeah. Well, that was a fun time. Joey Senf, who
Yes.
does all the
Joey's
band
great.
photography all over the city of Winnipeg, blessed us with her presence one day, and we did a great big picture studio day. So that's funny. And Will's in it, technically, then.
Yes.
also.
Will Little's 3D printed Dragon Nanny statuette is in my biopic.
Oh, that's not Will?
That's not Will himself. No.
Will's a little
No.
broader.
You could fit 10 of those in his bicep. Right? Yes. Each of those is fine. Okay. So in this book, there's stuff that you did for the Children's Hospital.
Mhm.
There's stuff that you did for an independent movie. There's stuff
Yep.
you did for some clothing line. There's stuff you did for big evil chain McDonald's. There's stuff you did.
They were trying to reduce their plastic footprint. They were.
And they picked you.
Yeah.
There's stuff you did for your own projects. Is there anything when you're looking through this that you say, oh, more of that? I have to make more space for that kind of thing to come.
Putting this together was it gave me this like kind of roadmap that I'd never really taken a step back and looked at very often of kind of my projects, my portfolio. And what I found was like this always happens in January regardless, but like the art book made it worse of the flood of ideas for new projects kind of based on what I've done the last couple of years. So there's a huge section in the back of this book where it's just ideas of like what I want to paint next. And some of these might happen in the next couple of months, some within the next year, some might never happen. But it was about 5 times larger than what was actually put in the book. And most of that came while building the art book and just kind of looking at everything I've done. The brain just started like worrying of like, well, we should do this. We should do this. Now that you've done that, take what you've learned there and do this project and that project. And so I found it was almost like frustratingly overwhelming, the amount of ideas that came from putting this collection together. Does that make sense?
It totally does. Because I am right now trying to figure out where best to put my efforts in the next 12 months.
Yeah.
And I have
an idea.
Yes. I know what your idea is.
But you get this like every time you go to a convention because you build this 20-foot booth of everything you've done in the last couple of years. And that's when you really get the ideas of like, you know what I should do next? You know what would really look good at this table is this and that book and this idea.
And back in my misspent youth, Mike Sanders, now of Electric Monk fame, and actually I can't announce it yet. They have some cool announcements coming though. Said to me about portfolios, never have something in your portfolio that you wouldn't want to do again. Right.
Yeah.
And so when I have curated what I'm bringing to the world, it's always stuff I want to do again or more of. But because lately I have been doing lots of different projects in lots of different genres. I have a sword and sorcery project with Once Lands. I've got a pulp air ace with Sky Devil.
You've got everything on the Stranger Fiction docket.
Right. I've got a noir detective with my Witch Police stories.
You worked on a movie.
We're just finishing up a horror movie. There's all these different places.
He's working on this beautiful indie A24 sci-fi literary comic.
It's gonna be
Little known,
little worked on. Written by an up-and-coming writer who's also going to have some announcements soon. His name's Lenin Rychenko. I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
We should have him on the podcast.
That's
Yeah.
mediocre.
Yeah. All of this means that I go through a creative panic of which of these things deserves my attention next.
Because none of these are, I can finish that in a weekend. They're all huge projects that take a lot of mental bandwidth, and it's really hard picking just one.
And they're all going to need a follow-up. And so the other piece of that is, you know, Lynn is doing it now and he's being a little facetious, but he's also being accurate, is that when you're with collaborators, you want to do everything right for them. And if I have Errol Gordon working on Blood Letters and it does well, we'll immediately want to fast track the follow-up.
Yeah, you
If-
have to be able to pivot and
Pivot.
I know you love that term so much, but yeah, you're going to have to learn, like, you have to have that freedom.
We're not big, but we're small, and our nimbleness is how we eat, frankly. And so you have to pivot into those things. And so if blood letters is a thing, then that gets the attention for the next one. If
Bloodier letters?
no, if Skydevil has an amazing takes flight, then that takes the attention for the sequel. If Ninja Kill Squad is the darling of the Ninja Versus collection, then that's gonna force me.
But see, like, even you just listing all these, this is like overwhelming to me.
Do all of those need to fail before you work on the year away?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
Moon, sermon, charms, demons, omens, codes, monks, ranks, rocks.
Madonna of the Rocks.
Da Vinci.
Yeah, what you're betting on, Lyndon, is that everything sucks for me so that I have time for you. That's what you're
Perfect.
Yeah.
But just like when you're starting your day and you're a little overwhelmed by all the tasks you have ahead of you, what really helps is making a list. And it's just downloading all that clutter in your head into a task list of, like, I've got to go pick up the dog and then, you know, like, tidy the basement.
You're exporting it from your brain to a piece of paper.
So, like, it just
100%.
yeah, and that's what the art book is on, like, a grand scale, right? Like, I have all these big projects that are, like, you know, the smallest project is 70 hours of painting. The bigger projects are months and months of work, and it's just overwhelming holding that in your head. But being able to kind of diary about it, journal about it in the art book really helped me just kind of download that stress of potential projects and put it someplace that, even if it doesn't happen, which is, you know, always a bit of a fear, like, I have this great idea. What if I never get time to do it? The art book kind of helped alleviate that anxiety and stress of, like, what if I never make it to this make a mecha sticker, build your own robot
Love that
project?
section in there, by the way. Yeah.
And I don't have plans to work on it in the next couple months because I have so many other things on the go,
Yeah.
and it might fizzle and die. I don't 100% know, but at least there's a part of it that lives in the art book, and that plan is in place, and I can come back to that and hopefully
Right.
make it an amazing thing.
And even if it never come to it, you at least know what the idea was.
And I'm sure, like, in art book, you know, 1 to 4, I talk about some things that never showed up, or they completely evolved into something else, or just only a part of them survived. But, you know, at least I got to journal about it and put it out into the world in one version, not the final version.
And I wonder, now that you're saying that, is instead of doing an art book, I'm having a self-realization now.
Dear listener, he's about to add another project to his pile.
No, the opposite is that I think all the projects, so for example, the Charlatan with Zach and, oh my gosh, there's so many. I have, so Rick,
This is why you need an art book.
well, no,
So
these are,
so many except for one.
these are instead of the distillation of the project of what I can do myself,
Mhm.
they become, if I collaborated with another person, yes, I will not have all the control. I will not have the final vision. I will not have the complete, it won't all be the Gregory show,
Yeah.
but it will be alive. And in that collaboration and in that giving up some of the reins, then more things live. Like, for example, I got just in my text messages a couple days ago, a whole bunch of new pages from Zach, and they are incredible. And in a way, I had forgotten all about the urgency of that project, because in my mind, I'd made a little compartment that said, you don't have to worry about this until the art pages come in.
Zach's got
You
it
have
for now.
the
He's
out-
carrying it for now.
He's carrying it for now.
Yeah.
And once he sends me, and then I opened up my notebook and I made all the notes I had to do.
Isn't it
Da-da-da.
so nice to work with an artist with urgency?
I know, it's wild, right? One day you'll have that. One day you'll have that.
One day I'll have that
Maybe
again.
even with me. But, you know, you got to keep you guessing, Lyndon. Got to keep you guessing. What was I going to say about that? I got derailed by wanting to say something nice to Lyndon to assuage his fears, but then I realized they were all empty promises. That's all I had. That's all I had.
That's okay. We were only story breaking this a year ago on the way to Calgary.
Oh, yeah, we'll
in the
get to
truck.
drive to Calgary.
It's still a baby in bookland, you know, like an idea that's only a year old. Come on.
But we're not in traditional
I gave
publishing.
a-
We're not in bookland. We gave up bookland.
No, we
Tradition-
didn't. No,
we gave up traditional bookland.
No, I have a traditional finished graphic novel with an agent that's going on now like 5 years, 6 years now.
It's not that long.
It is that
I was
long.
there,
That long. So it takes a long time.
but we're not in
traditional
traditional bookland.
We aren't.
No.
No, we aren't. If you didn't have the art book to organize these thoughts, would you have slid into madness?
I think this is kind of replacing. You remember like blogs?
Ah, I miss them.
Blogs. Well, and
People are
that's-
blogging again, I noticed.
Yeah, it's starting to
Like
become a thing.
blogging's back.
Yeah.
Blogging never left. We got Twitter was a microblogging site.
No.
Yeah.
That's the definition of Twitter.
Vie upon you, no.
And you've talked about how you kind of treat Instagram like this. Is this more of a diary for yourself more so than
Yeah.
a platform to
That's
like it is a platform to advertise, but you like being able to look back like a year ago at this time, what was I working on? What was I doing?
That's what I use Instagram for too.
Yeah, alibi
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
the word you're looking for. Yes, officer, I was in fact in a different city.
But it's a form of that, and to what you were saying, Lyndon, about this being like another project to add, is what's great about the art book is there is no new work to really do. Like there is, but it's so much less than an actual book project because all the work is done.
All the
All the
good
art's
parts are
done,
there.
yeah.
You
We're
get-
just collecting past projects and like gathering them up and putting them in a presentable page layout, which is, it's the easiest book you'll ever build if you keep somewhat careful track of your files.
Okay, can I pivot for a second? It made me think of it when you said easy because of the work that's already done. At Calgary Expo,
Mhm.
Lyndon, how many members of the Dire Beast Collective are going to be there?
We have a map.
We're done.
Where's our map? I just saw it.
There it is. Find every monster. Look.
I think 11.
One, there is Chasing Artwork, Zach Schuster, Scott Ford, Infinite Studio,
Which is 2.
Francine
Delgado.
Delgado, George Michael, Strange of Fiction,
Mikhail.
FM Biko, GMB Kamichuk, and Cursed Rabbit Comics.
And
And Scott Henderson.
Scott Henderson.
And Scott
also now.
Henderson.
So all of those people are going to be at Calgary Expo
Mhm.
and telling people, being hyped about Dire Beasts is going to be so
Hopefully.
easy. Well, no, for me, because like when I talk about, I really like,
That book feels so old already.
yeah, I know, but it's less than
It's
a
been
year
to
old.
one convention.
Yeah.
No, but the notion of like when someone comes and they say, what's new, what's exciting, what's of value to me, like what do I get for my money? I get to hand them Dire Beasts and say, listen, $20, $25, depending on the bundle, right? And you can get 12 free sketches from different artists who are all here.
Yeah.
And we actually prepared a map for you to find them all. And when I say me, I mean Lyndon and Scott Ford prepared a map to find everybody. Like that is what I love about the comics community that has real value under it.
Well, the attendees of the convention as well, I think, there is some fatigue with everything costs money.
Oh,
And so being able to take this book and get like 11 other free
Yeah.
pieces of artwork.
not
Out of
a
it?
trick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not-
Truly a one-of-a-kind memento.
We had a lot of like, it's not super kid appropriate, but we had a lot of young readers
Yeah.
get really, really excited at the fact like now we have a treasure hunt. Now we get to go find all these people. Now we get to like we'd make it a bit of a game like tell Zach he can't draw wizards. Tell Justin he can't draw dragons.
Yeah.
Tell Gregory to do something nice this time.
Yeah.
Tell Lyndon he can't draw at all. Don't
Right.
worry. He knows.
I tell everyone to tell you to draw.
And then like when people come to your booth, it kind of like there's already a bit of banter like ready.
They're
loaded up.
excited. Yeah.
Yeah. We're not inventing the wheel here by discovering this,
by
but
making
it's-
a chase.
yeah,
item,
it's
but-
amazing. We love it. I really hope, and the other thing I want to really aim to do in Calgary this year is because we have so many people, is kind of set the groundwork for potentially doing another Dire Beast. I know this project is barely like left the ground, but
But I
love
mean,
to
it's
do-
already inspired Ninja's verse.
Yeah. I think it's not unfair to say George McHale and his Ninja Versus collection, inspired by the community vibe of getting everybody to contribute to the print run, contribute to the content, and then share in the larger rewards of the whole project. Definitely something we talked about and something that he's going to pull off with his new book, which is probably going to be available in, I think the plan right now is for Toronto Fan Expo. For
That would
be
make
the
sense.
Deadline.
I think
Yeah.
he wanted to kickstart it sometime within the next month.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. All my pages are done. Thank goodness.
What's the next step? With him, it's always Sophie, what's the next step? Puzzles, codes,
a treasure hunt.
How much time do we have left? Do we have time for me to
10 minutes.
Okay, I'm going to get real with you, dear listener, about dealing with collaborators. I can be, this is the GMB Kamichuk portion of the show now, I can be quite forceful in what I think my role in the collaboration process is going to be, as Lyndon is grinning like a Cheshire cat, shaking his head. And I thought that I was helping, but I was not helping. And so I'm going to tell a story about how not to be a collaborator by telling you how I missed the mark on being a collaborator. I think this is really important. And it's time for me to make a little pie, put some crow in it, and eat it up. Yum. George McHale has announced already, so I'm not blowing any of his lead on socials, that he is working on an independent horror film called Night Terrors that he and Andrew Buckley co-wrote together. They're doing an independent feature out in BC. It's going to be an incredible effort, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it all shakes out. I assumed he was so busy doing that when he invited me to include the Ninja Kill Squad work into the Ninja Versus anthology, that the useful thing for me to do, since he was so busy, was to story break it, which I did with him, and then illustrate it, and then I'll just fill in the words as we described, give him the above the line credit, right? So created by us, right? Story by George and me, and then written and illustrated by GMB Kamichuk, and turn in 10 illustrated written pages so that he could just check the box on the anthology. Now, those of you who have been collaborators, a bell is ringing in your mind, which did not go off in my mind.
Did you guys not establish who was doing what and who was responsible for what?
So, and this is not a tale out of school. I think George would be fine for me to say this. So when I sent it to him, I said, hey, it's all done. Cool. Here you go. Now you don't have to worry about it. He sent back and he's like, dude, like, why don't I get to write my own story? Like, what is happening? What did you do? And he was really honest. And I think this was a really important thing. He was really honest about what bothered him about it. He's like, text me back right away. He's like, I think that this really shows that you don't value me as a writer or as a collaborator when you don't check with me first before you go on and finish something. Because I got a letterer to like finish it up and like,
It wasn't me.
turn
It was not me.
No, it wasn't. And I'm reading his thing, and all I could think was, oh, wow, you are 100% right. I was in rush to finish mode so much on so many things that I just assumed I was doing you a favor without asking if you needed a favor done, which he did not. So I said, and this is the other thing, totally on me, totally ran ahead went rogue, essentially is what I said. Your collaboration with me on this project means more than the project going my way. Here are the finished pages, scrubbed of all the writing. If you want to rewrite it Stan and Jack style, you go ahead. Like it's not that precious to me.
You never hear of this being a problem, though. It's usually the other way around of like, oh, I thought you were going to do that.
Yeah.
And now I have to do it? I thought,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and that was the position I was coming from. But
You
it
worked ahead?
Yes.
God damn it.
This is not the time to give me the benefit of the doubt. This is me admitting to a wrongdoing. And I think this is an important step, that when you get really busy, as my wife will be quick to point out, that if you compartmentalize how the project is versus how you think it is, those two can get conflated, and you can just move along to the next thing on the checklist without remembering that, hey, there are creative, interested, loving, expressive people involved in the whole chain.
Yeah,
events.
I'd have been pissed.
Yeah, you would have been.
I'd have been pissed.
Yeah.
Well, and creatives, like just as a whole, if I can generalize a little bit, like it's a little bit,
Oh, we're sensitive.
we're a little sensitive, right? It's not just work. It's something really personal that suddenly I don't get to attach to that. So it's worse.
Yeah. So totally my bad. I'd like to go on record as saying my bad. And so when you see Ninja Verses, there is a secret story behind how it all came together. And important, dear listener, that you know that
Are people getting impaled in this story? Are there deep beheadings?
there's a fair amount of violence in it.
You're like, could you swap in your own likeness
Oh,
into one of
well,
the
I-
panels?
No, I wouldn't want to do that because
Okay.
I'm superstitious in that way.
I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious.
I'm a little stitious in that way. But I will say it's a 10-page story. And so
Release the Gregory cut.
you release the Gregory cut. No. Well, maybe.
We're going to start an online movement. Release the Gregory cut.
Oh my God. I'll happily release
Studio interference.
no money. Yes.
Actually, that'd be kind of a fun add-on PDF. Like if you buy the book, you also get the free,
you get the one where I hurt George.
yeah,
Yeah. Where Gregory is
the
a bad
backstab
collaborator.
version.
I'm
The
sure George would love to include that as
A
part of
backstabbing version.
backstab version.
Actually, that's not a horrible idea.
What?
The work's done.
The backstab edition.
Let's capitalize on your betrayal.
Oh my God. So, when you get really busy, dear listener, do have a care that everybody that you can is aptly represented. And in a world where I am used to sharing credit, sometimes that conflates the wrong way, where you have taken credit where it isn't due. And sometimes it's not about the work, but the fun and the joy of making stuff, right? To George, a busy guy, making comics is his absolute first love. He loves writing comics. I took that from you, George. I'm so sorry.
Well, I think that's your first love. Imagine if someone took drawing comics away from you.
Yeah, well, that happens all the time. Zach does it. He took Earth.
You know, you asked him to do it.
Yeah, 'cause it's better. So that's different.
What are you saying?
I'm saying Zach's a better drawer than me.
Okay.
Is that bad?
Just making sure we're not comparing this to your situation with George.
No, it's totally different. George, I'm wrong. It was me all along. Now, I want to make this last thought about you, Justin.
Hmm.
And not about my failings as a collaborator, but on your success as an illustrator. Chasing Artwork, book 5. It's not released yet, or it is released? Where can people
When
find
this
it?
podcast comes out, it'll be up on my website, and I have a spring sale coming up, so it's free shipping on everything on the website. And I have all these bundles with like you can get art book. Art book 1 doesn't really exist anymore. Like there's none. There's a couple art book 2s out there, and then 3, 4, and 5 I have is like you can get all together as bundles if you want. And yeah, it's all on chasingartwork.com. And I didn't want to make this podcast like an advertisement, but we are a studio, we all make books, and I think when we have a book come in, we should be celebrating that and talking about it. So every time one of us makes a book, I think we should be dedicating at least a good portion of the podcast to talking about that book.
I don't think that's unfair.
What shows will you be at this year, Justin, where people can come check out this book in person?
So
Well, yeah, because you'll have physical copies of that first 200, right? Of
yeah.
yeah.
And I'm not sure how much
they
I'm
sell out.
splitting up that first 200 onto online and in person.
50-50.
I don't know.
50-50-50.
And again,
50-50.
it's hard to really make a plan until I see how this does in the wild. So Calgary is my first show, and then I have Anime North in Toronto. I have Montreal. I have Toronto Fan Expo. I've got Icon in Winnipeg here, New York and San Diego in the States. But most of my shows are Canadian this year.
Ottawa, you'll be at Ottawa.
I'll be
Your
at
stuff that
Ottawa,
went north.
Edmonton Comic-Con as well. Yeah, less in-person events this year because I'm a brand new dad. But I will be trying to send out signed books and all the books come with a little sketch in them as well. So you won't be able to get this book that hasn't been hand numbered and sketched in. If you do, it's a horrible mistake,
Or it's been stolen.
or it's been stolen. Yes. Yeah.
So the unsigned books are stolen.
Well, we always make that joke. If you find a book that we haven't sketched in, it was stolen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We took that joke from Douglas Adams, who on his first print run of what's the one with the towel? I just lost it.
Hitchhikers?
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
You forgot
Apparently
the
that
name?
first-
Hitchhiker.
Yeah, it's been a long week.
It's Tuesday. He goes now.
He used to say the ones that are valuable are the ones I didn't sign.
Ah.
He signed so many copies of them. So really, we should put
It's like a Stanley comic.
a few aside, unsigned, out of the run, so that we can make some real money.
That's when Justin goes missing.
That's right. That's right. Perfect. Okay, you monsters. I look forward to spending a very long convention with both of you coming up real fast. This has been Super Pulp Science, where I'm encouraging you to make comics, respect your collaborators,
That'd be nice.
and join the fight. This is Jimmy Kamichuk, and that's all backwards, Dan, I know, but we're going to let it slide this one time.